Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on today's show, Fiat Chrysler Automobile has finally found itself a partner. They are hooking up with the folks over at PSA. PSA, if you don't know, is kind of a French government-run organization that sits over the top, at least partially, over Peugeot and Citroën. This is going to be an interesting partnership because it's going to give both groups a big economy of scale, which is great because this will be the fourth largest auto manufacturer by volume on the planet. That is right behind the folks over at Renault Nissan, who I was kind of hoping that we were going to hook up with, that being FCA, the folks over at Toyota, and Volkswagen AG. The reason I wanted it is because Citroën Peugeot makes some pretty interesting stuff, but Renault Sport makes some really cool stuff that I would have loved to have seen come stateside. Again, that economy of scale will be big for these two organizations because obviously if there's a small little widget or gizmo that goes in any one of these machines and they could integrate it into all their machines, it means they can go to a supplier and say, hey, we're going to order 10 times more of these things, whatever that may be, and be able to get a hell of a discount on this deal. Now, it's going to be real interesting, too, if they're going to bring some FCA vehicles into Peugeot-run markets or Peugeot vehicles, Peugeot Citroën, into FCA markets. It's going to be real entertaining. Now, this deal is still a pretty far ways off. Even though they're claiming this is a 50-50 deal, there is a lot of work that needs to be done. In fact, close to a year and a half it's going to take to actually get this deal official, even though they have actually shaken hands on the deal. Supposedly it's going to be 50-50, even though, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see on that front, because usually someone always comes out in the lead of this deal. So we'll definitely keep you in tune more of what we hear about this particular deal. It's going to be real interesting next couple of years. Next up on the list, on the heels of the fantastic film Ford versus Ferrari, Ford is showing off a brand new Heritage Edition of the GT350 and the GT350R. This, harkening back to one of the stars inside of the story behind the film, one Ken Miles, back in 1965, was a development driver on the first go-round of the GT350, and this is a car that will kind of harken back to his spirit and Carroll Shelby's spirit from back in the day. So, this is going to be a limited edition GT350, GT350R, depending on what you actually want it to be built as. They're all going to be done in Wimbledon white with Guardsman blue striping, Le Mans stripes over the top, striping down the side, a bunch of GT350 badges. All the interiors are going to be black with red stitching in them. Starting price for the GT350 for this particular generation is $60,440. If you go to the R version, that bumps the price up to $73,435. And if you would like the Heritage Edition version of any one of these two models, it will cost you an extra $1,965. Yes, 1965, the year Ken Miles was development driver on the GT350R. A little nod back to the past. Honestly, if you're going to spend this much on a fantastically put together little machine that is the GT350, GT350R, I would suggest easily boning up for the $2,000 it's going to take to actually own the Heritage Edition version, because I think it's going to be a lot better, at least in my mind, in the long run. And last up on the list, another death inside of the racing world, one Junior Johnson. Junior Johnson was born in 1931, and he was born as Robert Glenn Johnson, son of Robert Glenn Johnson Sr. Obviously, that's where the Junior came from. Mr. Johnson was an icon in the NASCAR world. In fact, came from those early roots, from moonshining, running away from the revenuers. In fact, Mr. Johnson was actually pardoned for his role in the moonshine thing by one President, Ronald Reagan, back in 1986. Mr. Johnson was heard to say, at least in a statement, that it was the best Christmas present he had ever gotten. Mr. Johnson raced for many years, not only as a driver, but also as a team owner. He never won a championship on his own, but won 132 races between his driving career, also inside of his ownership career. Now, he did win 6 championships as an owner, behind the drivers of Cale Yarborough and one Darrell Waltrip. He actually brought up a bunch of youngsters that you would know and love, icons in the NASCAR world, over the years. Mr. Johnson was inducted into the Motorsports Hall of Fame in 1990 and the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2010. Again, Mr. Johnson, well loved, a heck of a character, one of a kind, and it's sad to see him go. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends in this time. He will definitely be missed. Again, Junior Johnson gone at the age of 88. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page. Links down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time. The first dibs in the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.